he had a big, beautiful palace, and he decided to have a party and invite everybody over. And this wasn't just a one-day party. This party lasted for 6 months. Did you ever hear of a party lasting so long? It's a long party. And he invited all his officials, all the big people in the country, because he had a large kingdom. And he invited them all. And he fed them all for 6 months. And they drank wine, and they had a really good time. At the end of the 6 months, he decided to bring his queen into the palace. But she said, "No, I'm not coming." He got angry. Oh, he was so angry that she had told him no. Do you like to hear the word no?
No.
No, nobody likes to hear that word.
Because I always say, like, I don't want to do it. I want to see if they want to do it.
I see. But we usually don't like it when our moms tell us no. We'd rather hear yes. And so it was with the king.
My mom said no, and I had to just scream at her.
Were you screaming at her? Well, that's kind of what happened to the king. He was so excited he needed to do something to his queen. He asked all of these smart people, what should he do to Queen Vashti was her name? What should he do to her because she would not come to his party?
Sorry.
And so they told him he should make a law that she would not be able to come to see him anymore, that she wouldn't be the queen anymore. He was just going to get rid of her. And so that's what he did. He made a rule and he got rid of the queen. But then as time went by, he started feeling kind of lonely. And he said, I need another queen. And so some of his men decided that they should look for a new queen for the king. So they went to, where are you going? No, sit down, please. Sit down, please. Thank you, Zoe. And so they went out. The king sent letters out to all of his kingdom, and they started to look for a new queen. In one part of the kingdom, there lived a young girl named Esther. And this fellow in the picture with her is her cousin. He was cousin Mordecai. Do you know what a cousin is?
Yes. I have 2 cousins, but they're girls.
Good. Do you
Don't think so.
have any cousins?
Their names are...
Do you have any aunts and uncles?
I have 2 uncles, and I have 1 aunt. And that's my aunt. I have an uncle named Ken, and I have an aunt named Aunt Tanya.
Do they have any children?
No.
They don't have any children yet. Well, when they have children, they will be your cousins. So this is cousin Mordecai, and this is Esther. What's your cousin's name?
Christabella and Leah.
Oh, nice names. I like the Christabella. That's nice.
Yeah, I like Leah because she's mostly... Leah's 9.
Oh,
Cal is 8.
oh okay, I
And
see.
Christabella is 8. And
Okay.
6.
All right. So they came and they picked Esther as one of the girls to go to the palace to be judged to be the queen. They were going to have a beauty contest, and they were going to pick the prettiest girl. So they gathered up all these girls all over the kingdom, and they came to the palace for the king to look at him and decide which one he wanted to be his queen. And so Esther got picked too. And so when she got to the palace, she met the man who was in charge of all the girls, and he really liked Esther. He thought she was really nice, and she was beautiful too. So he gave her, right there in the middle, that's Esther. Yeah, and they gave her 7 maids to help her get even more beautiful. They had so much stuff. They had oils and creams, and they spent 6 months making her more beautiful than she was. Look, 6, 7. Got it? 7 maids to help her. And Haggai, who was in charge of all the girls, he liked her so much that he gave her a special room. Plus he gave her all these maids, and he gave her anything she wanted. But Esther was a kind girl. She was really nice, and so she didn't ask for a lot. And she was nice to all of her maids too. She became friends with them. And they were just so, everybody just liked her. Esther was just that kind of a girl.
How many years did they? How many days?
How many days did they work on her? 6 months. That would be like January, February, March, April, May, June. 6 months they worked on making her.
What?
They made all the girls as pretty as they could make them. So they were going to go before the king. And so here was Esther. So finally the day came, the king called for each girl to come before him. And he looked at each one and he asked them questions. And they would walk around in front of him and they would smile. And some of the girls would wink at him. And some of them would walk really funny because they wanted the king to notice them. And some of the girls weren't really very nice, like Esther. But when Esther came before the king, he looked at her and he fell in love with her right away. He thought she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. He decided that she would be his queen. And so he got out the crown and put it on her head. You don't think she's pretty? Well, I think she's pretty.
I think she's beauteous.
Yes, she is beauteous. And so he made her his next queen. And here she is.
Isn't it pretty with a thing on her or the crown?
Don't you think she's pretty?
Yes.
She's very pretty. And she was pretty on the inside too, because she loved God. And she was kind, she was generous, she always spoke nice, she didn't yell at people. She never took anything that wasn't hers. She was just a very, very kind person. So next week, I will tell you what happens to Queen Esther. She starts having some problems. And so next week, we're going to talk about that. Would you like to be a queen?
Yes. I want to be a princess.
You want to be a princess?
It's basically made for the queen.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Like the princesses help the queen make stuff.
Yes, they do. Sometimes the princess is the queen's daughter. Right?
If Shelly's here, she missed the whole thing.
She missed the whole story.
Wait, this is the end?
Yeah, this is the end.
Wow.
Oh, sure.
$1.